point. We're going to talk about why course codes are important. The course codes, actually, they are the main thing that links the courses with the KTS data exchange from the technical school to the high school. It's what actually, it's kind of like the course masters are like a conduit for the student information to sync back to the technical school. So if you haven't set your courses up correctly in your school, you're taking a chance of the students not syncing correctly. So it's important to make sure that you follow the directions in setting the courses up correctly, but then you also communicate the correct course codes for your high schools to be able to pull in, so they know exactly which courses that they need to pull in. So the courses are originally set up. Okay, I have the question. The high schools will not be setting up grade calc options. We only set up grading tasks, and that is correct. Yes, on the high school side, you only set up your grading tasks on the grading task tab for each course. Grade calc options, you do not set those up on the high school side. They're not necessary. And that's because the grade calc options are used to add a calculator for the teacher's grade book and for the actual course. And because you all on the high school side are actually receiving posted grades and you don't have a teacher actually manipulating a grade book in your high school database, then it is not necessary for you to use to set up the grade calc options tab. So that'll be one less thing that you have to do on the high school side for these courses. Good question, Joy. Okay, going back to course codes. So initially what happens is, to start off the KTS data exchange process, the course is actually created on the technical school side first. So the technical school principal will create a master schedule, and then they will go into Infinity Campus and develop that master schedule by either pulling in brand new courses and setting them up properly according to the directions, or by rolling courses forward from the previous school year and then just making sure that those rolled forward courses are the new school year. So there's two options for your technical school principal when it comes to new year scheduling. So that's a decision that the technical school principal will have to make. Do they want to roll courses forward and manipulate previous year courses for their new master schedule for the new school year? Or do they want to start from scratch and by creating brand new courses? And whenever your calendar is created on the technical school side, you just start fresh. So those are some decisions on the technical school side that you need to make, like one of the first things that you need to make. So what I did in the most recent email, okay, that's awesome, Laura. So what I did in the recent email that I sent to you all in the recent invitation was I included the 21-22 school calendar schedule setup document. And what I need is all of you technical school principals to complete this document. This first section is going to be information about your school name, your principal email, phone number, administrative assistance information, okay? The second section is a listing of all of your high schools that you service, along with the principal's name and the lead scheduler or the counselor, whoever in the high school actually works with the KTS data exchange over there with you. I need their name and email address. And then these are optional fields. I really like to know what term schedule they use over on the high school. side, if they're on semester, trimester, quarters, whatever that is. It's just kind of helpful information to be able to reference. If you have that, you can provide that. If you don't, it's okay. And then the same thing for the estimated first day of school and last day of school. If you have it, great. If you don't, it's fine. It just kind of helps me to be able to build your new calendar on the technical school side. Then scrolling down to section 3, if your period schedule for the 21-22 school year is going to be the same and there will be no changes, you don't have to fill this out. You can just mark same, you can just put a line through it, whatever, and that'll let me know that it's not changing. If it's changing and you know what it's going to be, go ahead and add in what your new period schedule is going to be, because when I create your new calendar, then at that same time, I'm going to create your new period schedule. If you know your period schedule is going to change, but you don't know what that is going to be, then let me know. Just write in here somewhere that you anticipate that it's going to change. You just don't know what it's going to be right now, just so I have a heads up and I know that I can still roll your calendar forward, but it's just I'm going to give you your previous period schedule to work with, and then until you provide me with your updated period schedule. Just realize that you're going to have some work that you're going to have to do to correct some things whenever your new period schedule is developed. So these are just some things for you to keep in mind on the technical school side when it comes to your period schedule. So I have another page, but on here, I need this form completed and sent back to me no later than January 8th, okay, because I'm going to be working on these, rolling your calendars forward during the month of January. Okay, but I need this information on page 2. And page 2 lets me know what I'm going to do as courses go when rolling your calendar forward. The first option is, am I going to be rolling only your courses forward? So like, do you just want me to roll forward just the exact courses that you are using from your 2021 school year? Do you just want me to roll them forward into the 21-22 school year? And what this does is it prevents you from having to pull in brand new courses for the new calendar year. But you would still have to create sections. So if you did this one, you would still have to create sections. Or do you want me to roll forward the whole thing, which includes courses with the sections and the schedule placements and the teacher's assignments? This would roll everything forward from your previous school year to your new school year. Then you could go in and make, general modifications as necessary. The third option is that you don't want anything rolled forward from the previous school year. You want to start from scratch. So I would create your new year calendar, and you would then basically build a brand new master schedule. You would pull in brand new courses, create brand new sections, so forth and so on. So these are the 3 decisions, 3 options for the decisions that you would need to make on the technical school side before you send me this this form back. And then I'll need you to, sign off on it, however you want to sign off on it, and then put the date on there. And that just helps me to know if because sometimes I have technical schools send me, they'll send me an original form, and then a couple weeks later, they're like, oh, I want to send you a new form because things have changed. And so if you add the date there, then that lets me know which is the newest form to send to you. Okay, so I have a question. will we ever get permission to edit this at the school level, the period schedules? And the answer to that, Gary, is actually no. And the reason why is because there is so much, it is so easy to break stuff with in the calendar portion of it. If you if you just do one weird thing that you don't think it's weird, but with Infinite Campus it is, and it just kind of breaks your schedule. It can delete courses accidentally. It can do a lot of weird things, and I don't want to give that access to everybody and then accidentally go in there and accidentally delete your courses or whatever. So in order to avoid that, then I just go ahead and make sure that, that access is limited. But I mean, the only time you really need to change your period schedule is in the beginning of the school year. As far as your term dates go, I know term dates do fluctuate depending on snow days and things like that. So whenever that happens, just send me an email and I'll be happy to modify that for you. Okay, some schools have the ability to do student enrollment on IC. Will we ever get that? No. And the reason why is because all of our students sync to us directly from the high school. So whenever a student is rostered correctly into a course on the high school side, it will sync to us on the technical school side and automatically give that student an enrollment record, a secondary enrollment record. So there's no need to do any type of direct student enrollment on the technical school side, unless you have you're talking about all of the enrollment information. So specifically, if you want to unmute yourself, Laura, and tell me exactly what it is that you're talking about, that would help.
Okay. Walton has the ability for their parents to go in and do 4 pages of enrollment stuff. They do that. Obviously, the contact information for the student, for the parent, the insurance information, just, the enrollment packets that you do at the beginning of the year, Walton can do online. And it prints out a really nice form afterwards. I think I even sent it to you. But instead of us doing 17 pages of enrollment packets on the first week of school, if the parents could go in and do that in Infinite Campus before school started, we can print out a 2-page document with everything on it.
Okay, so I will look into that. I think the last time that I looked into that, though, the problem was that we had to have one specific template for our whole quote unquote district. So with us having like 60 schools in our database, that was going to be a little difficult because everybody has their own forms and own information that they need and things like that. So, but I'll put it down on my list of things to research to see.
Did I send you a copy of that?
Remember, but I mean, if you can send it again, that would be awesome.
Okay, yeah, and I asked the IT person at Walton what they did, and they said there's something in Infinite Campus that you can turn on and then open it up for the parents to do, and right. The parents go in and do all this enrollment stuff, and it's super nice because you can read everything. You don't worry about anybody's handwriting.
Right.
All right, let me see if I can find that, and I'll send it to you. Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. All right, so we're going to go back over here. So anyways, yes, for you technical school principals, I will need this back filled out to me by January 8th. Okay, going back to course codes, kind of got a little sidetracked there for a second. All right, the course codes that are created that are through the KTS data exchange on the high school side are made up of a prefix and some suffixes that are added to the state course code to create a unique 13-digit number that identifies the technical school course period and section. Okay, and so basically that course code is broken down into 5 separate segments. The first segment of that course code is the technical school ID number. Okay, this is a 2-digit number that is unique for that technical school. So on the KTS Data Exchange webpage, under System Administrator Setup heading, there's a document titled KTS Technical School ID Numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and that'll bring up this, this document real quick. It lists all of our technical schools in our database, okay? And next to each school is a tech ID number. It's a 2-digit number. So this is the 2-digit number that populates with the KTS Data Exchange automatically on the high school side whenever the technical school creates a course. So if you don't know what your tech ID number is for your technical school, this is how you find it. So for example, we've got, I don't know, we've got Harrison County Area Technology Center. And next to Harrison County, we've got a 2-1. So I know that all courses for Harrison County that are created at Harrison County Technology Center, when they go over to the high school catalog, they will start with a 2-1. Same concept for Greenup County. Greenup County ATC, your tech ID number is 20. So all of your courses that you create in your database, when they sync to the high school catalog, they'll sync starting with the numbers 20. So when the high school goes to grab those courses and pull them in, they want to make sure that they're grabbing the correct courses with the correct tech ID number. So we wouldn't want Harrison County High School to go in and pull in courses that start with 20, because then they would be pulling in Greenup County ATC's courses. We wouldn't want Greenup County High School going in and pulling in courses that start with 19, because then they would be pulling in Greene County ATC's courses. So that's why it's important to, for your high schools to know what your tech ID number is, but it's also important for them to know exactly, you know, for you as the technical school principals, to provide them with this 13-digit code that they need so they're not guessing which number to pull in. And that's what's so important, is do not let your high schools guess what numbers they need to pull in. Take a few minutes to decipher these codes for them, and that will save you a lot of heartache in the long run, because then you'll know that you've given the high schools the exact key that they need to be able to sync those students to you correctly. If you don't give them this key, then you're going to end up setting yourself up for some issues when school starts, because you know, you might not have kids syncing to you correctly and all, or at all. So that's why you want to make sure that you're doing this for your high schools when it comes to the master schedule. The second segment is going to be the 6-digit state course code. And this is the number that it's in a special catalog for the technical schools that they pull in, this course code, this course master, and they reference the program of studies documentation to make sure that they're actually using a valid course. It's important to make sure that the courses you use on your technical school side are valid courses. If you roll your courses forward, sometimes some of those courses become deprecated courses, and you don't want to use those again for the next school year, because you'll end up with lead issues, and you'll have to end up changing things in the middle of the next school year. So it's important now, when you think about your master schedule for the new school year, that you only pull in valid state courses. And you can find what those are in the programs and studies document, and this is a link directly to it. So I'm going to go ahead and go there just really quickly. This link takes you to the, did they break the link? I'm going to have to redo this link then. But what I can do is I can go back over to our database, go over to the website, and then I'm going to type in program of studies in the search box. And that'll bring us to Career and Technical Education Program of Studies. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And here's that document. It's a really huge document. It's over 1,000 pages, okay? But if you are a technical school, you want to make sure you're using valid courses. So this is how you ensure that you're using valid courses, is by referencing this document. Now this one's for the 2021 school year. I think they're going to be coming out with the one for the 21-22 school year pretty soon. So just make sure, like I said, when you're creating or updating courses in your technical school database, that you reference this to make sure that they're valid. All right. The third segment of the 13-digit course code is going to be the course indicator. Okay, that course indicator is typically always going to be a P or an X to indicate that the numbers directly following that indicator is the section, schedule, placement, or the period location back on the technical school side. It's just kind of like a way to make that 13-digit course code unique. There are a handful of courses in our database that have more than just two numbers. Two course indicators assigned to them. We also use the school defined course, and the also the dual credit academic courses are all in there with PX, and they're also in there as A, B, C, D, or E. And that just allows more variability for technical school principals to use when they're creating their master schedule. The differences between those courses, let's say you pull a course in that has a P in it or an X in it or whatever, is actually, there is really no difference. It's just a different, it just allows variability for the principal at the technical school to be able to create their master schedule. If they have, if some technical school principals decide to utilize that as these extra codes for dual credit purposes. Some decide to use them for credit variability. So if you've got one course that is offered all year long, and then they get, a half a credit in the middle of the year and a half a credit at the end, or let's say you've got the same course that's being offered, but it's only being offered during half a school year, but it's blocked out, and so they get the full course at the end of the first semester. So it just gives the technical school the ability to be able to assign those variable credit values for courses. So it really just depends on how the technical school principal wants to utilize these different indicators. But they are just available to them in case they want to use them. And that's pretty much what the indicator is. The segment 4 of the 13-digit code represents, like I said, the 2-digit section, schedule, placement, or period number at the technical school side. And then the 5th segment is the arbitrary number, 2-digit number that is given to the section number that is created on the technical school side. So looking at this in this way, we're just going to kind of break this down again by the first segment, which is the tech ID number. The second segment is your state course code. Then we've got our course indicator. In this example, it's a P. And then we've got our technical school period number, and then the technical school section number. So this course, this particular course right here, by looking at it, I can tell 09. 09 is the actual tech ID number for Caldwell County ATCs. So I can see this number and realize automatically that this is a Caldwell County ATC course code. Okay, so if you're a high school and you're pulling in course codes and you don't send your kids to Caldwell County ATC, then you know that you do not need to even worry about this number, you know. But if you are a high school that does send your kids to Caldwell County ATC, then you know that the 09 number is what you need to pull in to your database. And then looking further at the code, you realize that the next grouping of numbers, 060112, is actually the state course code for digital literacy. So you know this is a digital literacy class. Then you've got your course indicator here. In this case, it's a P, and then the numbers directly after the P is the period location. So I can look at this number and see that this course actually is housed in the 4th period back on the technical school side. Now, if I'm a high school and I'm pulling this course in, does this mean that I have to put it in my 4th period on my high school database? No, you don't have to do that. You put it in the time slot that best fits the period schedule back on the high school. So if this kid, or if the kid that is attending this class is actually the 4th period, let's say 4th period on the technical school side is from 12:30 to 1:30. But on your side, on the high school side, 12:30 to 1:30 falls into your 5th period location. So you can put this, when you pull this course in, you can house it in your 5th period on the high school side, and that's fine. It's not going to bother anything. But the 04 is just kind of giving you an idea of where this is sitting, this course is sitting on the technical school side's period schedule. And then the 01, the last 2 numbers, is actually the arbitrary number that is given to the section number on the technical school side. Some technical schools also use this arbitrary number to communicate with their high schools in various ways. For example, let's say you've got a technical school that offers 1st semester courses and 2nd semester courses. Sometimes those technical schools will use this 2-digit technical school section number to indicate if it's a 1st semester course or a 2nd semester course. So for example, if it's a 1st semester course, maybe they want to make it 1-1 or 1-2 or 1-3. If it's a 2nd semester course, maybe they want to call it 2-1, 2-2, 2-3, something like that. Those are options that the technical school principal can use when creating these courses on their technical school side. I'm just checking to see if there are any other questions. Are there any questions so far about these course codes? So I'm going to go into, here's another breakdown, another visual of a 13-digit course code. So, we got our 2-digit tech ID number, and in this case, 81 is representative of Gateway Academy, which is housed at Christian County. 060112, once again, that's the state course code for digital literacy. And in this case, they use the X course, so the X is the indicator here. The 2-digit numbers afterwards, that's actually the technical school's period location. So this period is 2A. So in this example, apparently this technical school has a 2A period. And so in this example, there's a letter, but that only occurs in if your technical school period schedule is set up in with a letter. So it just depends, that doesn't mean that you're going to see a letter in there just arbitrarily. It's up to the technical school side and what their period schedule actually is, how they define their period schedule. And then in this case, the last two numbers are the technical school section number. And these are always numbers only. And then they can only be up to 2 digits. So we want to make sure on the technical school side never to assign a section number with more than 2 numbers. If you are a technical school principal and you assign one of your sections with a 3-digit, 4-digit technical school section number, then it's going to give you an error message and it's not going to sync this course to the high school's catalog. Just to give you an FYI on that. So always make sure that it's no more than two digits. Okay. So now we're just going to do a really quick exercise. And just to get you thinking about how these course codes are set up. And then I'm going to log into the database and kind of show you real quick how to read it on your technical school side as well. So in this example, Shelby County ATC, which if you look up at the key, Shelby County ATC's tech ID number is 52. So the answer, I already know right off the bat, the first 2 digits are going to be 52. Let me make this a little there. Okay. Shelby County ATC just added a medical math course, and that's the course number for medical math. So then I also know that the next group of numbers is your state course code. So I've got the rest, or the next part of the answer is going to be 170169 because it's always the 6-digit state course code. The third segment after that is going to be the course indicator. So in reading this question, it says Shelby County ATC just added a medical math course to their school. The section will be blocked and only meet during the first semester. What would the 13-digit code be? So I'm looking at this visual example here of this course, and I'm seeing that the course that's been pulled in here on the technical school side, I don't see an X at the end of the course number. So that tells me that whenever the KTS data exchange grabs this technical school course and pulls it into the high school catalog, it's going to go over there as a P, because if there's not an X showing here on the technical school side, the P will automatically populate in there for that 13-digit course code. If we'll see an example here in a minute of a course that has an X in it. Then the next grouping of numbers, the fourth segment, is also going to be the period location. So if I look down here at this example, the section schedule placement shows that this course is meeting first period and second period for quarters 1 and quarters 2. The KTS data exchange always looks at the very first period that's selected for the section schedule placement, and in this case, that's going to be period 1. So if I were to come back up here and continue filling in my answer, my response, the 2 numbers that are going to come after the P are going to be 0, 1 to indicate first period. Okay. And then the last 2 numbers are, remember, the section number that is given to the section. So if I look in this example here, the number 3 is inserted into the section number box. And so I know that my last 2 numbers of this 13-digit code is going to be 0, 3. So by just looking at the section makeup right here, I can fill out and figure out what this 13-digit code is. I know that what my tech ID number is. I know that the state course code comes from the actual course 6-digit course code that's created or pulled into the technical school side. I know how to decipher what my course indicator is going to be. It's going to be a P in this case. I know that looking at the section schedule placement area will tell me what my 4th segment is, and then my last segment is going to be the section number. And then we'll just do one more, and then we'll move on. Actually, I'm going to, yeah, let's just do this one. Okay, Bullitt County, ATC. So that's the first. I know it's Bullitt County. I need to look up at the key, Bullitt County, ATCs. Tech ID number is 06. So I'm going to go back down here, and I know that for my response here, it's going to be 06 already. So go ahead and put that in there. Okay. So Bullitt County ATC already has a block course that they're using for breaks, but they need to add a single period class that is going to last all year long. And so that's for credit variability. So they also need to pull in the breaks with the X at the end of it. What would the 13-digit course be? Okay, so like we said a second ago, the tech ID number for Bullitt County is 06. Now we got our second segment of numbers, which is going to be the 6-digit state course code. So I see from this example, that's 470422. Okay. And then here you'll see that the X is populated for this 6-digit state course code. And I know that when the KTS data exchange pulls this course over to the high school database, that it's going to give it an X course indicator, because the X is represented there. And then my next grouping of numbers is going to be my period location. So I'm looking down at my period location here, my section schedule placement 03. So this class meets 3rd period. And then my arbitrary section number that was given to this course is 21. So this is going to be my 13-digit state course code that's going to, for the high school, that's going to match this course on the technical school side. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and actually log into, I just realized I'm using a loaner computer and I don't have my sandbox URL, so I can't log into the database. I don't want to log into the database because I don't want to accidentally show you student information, because I want to record this training and put it on our YouTube channel. So I'm not going to be able to log in to our database today, but hopefully these examples were enough to help you on the technical school side learn how to decipher these numbers for your high schools. You're going to be expected to do that for them. And then hopefully this is enough for the high school people to understand how these 13-digit course codes are developed to make it easier for you to communicate with your high school people. So I was going to show you one more thing, but it looks like I'm not going to be able to do that because I can't log into the database. So, on the KTS Data Exchange webpage, under the System Administrator Setup heading, there's a document called Explanation of Course Codes, and that goes over exactly what we just went over just a second ago with explaining how these course codes are made up. So if you need to go in there and kind of look at that and read that, that it's there available under there. Also, in the documents that I sent you all this morning, there are 2 templates that you can use if you are a technical school principal to create your master schedule that you need to supply for your high school people. If you already have your own template, you can use your own template. That is fine. But these templates are available to you just in case. And I just want to open them up real quick and just kind of show you, if you are a technical school and you're creating your master schedule in your database, you can put your master schedule on a template like this, and then provide the 13-digit state course code for your high school people in the template, so they know which course number goes where. And then, you can also provide to them the credit value as well. That's a good way to communicate with them. Okay, and then there is a second template here as an example. Same concept. You've got your master schedule listed here on your technical school side, and your 13-digit code is entered in here for each of the courses that are offered, just so your high school has no questions as far as which course code to use whenever they pull these courses in. So like I said before, and I will say it again, providing this information to your high school people will save you a lot of heartache when it comes to the new school year starting, because you don't want the new school year starting and the high schools have put these students into incorrect courses, or maybe they just don't know. Maybe they've just grabbed some arbitrary courses that they've seen in the catalog, and they've just pulled them in, and then they're going to have to go through and correct all of this on their side, on the high school side, and they're very busy. So providing them this master schedule with the 13-digit codes is going to be helpful to everybody. It might take you on the technical school side an extra 30 minutes to an hour to decipher all the codes, but I'm telling you, it's good time well spent if you're able to provide them with the information that they need in advance. Okay. Questions about course codes? All right, moving forward. Talking about what does the technical school side do moving forward with this scheduled prep. Okay, so what happens is, like I said a minute ago, that you're going to create your master schedule on the technical school side. That's your first thing that you need to do. You need to provide me with that document that I've requested, that I need to know how to create your master, or to roll your calendar forward in Infinite Campus. Okay, then once I have created your new year calendar, I will communicate with you. I'll send you an email out, and I will tell you your new year calendar is ready. Okay, so you need to watch for an email from me during the month of January. Okay, it's important not to push that email to the side. We've had a couple that did that last year, and then at the end of the year they were like, wait a minute, what's going on? So make sure you watch for an email coming from me sometime in January, beginning of February at the latest. And then I will make sure that, okay, Bill, I'll send it out again. Actually, I'll go ahead and add it to this. Let me go ahead and add it here. Okay, Gary. So, there you go. Okay, so it's uploading, and you can, for those of y'all who need that scheduling document, I've just uploaded it here, and so you can go ahead and pull it off of here, and that way it's available. You're welcome. Okay. All right. So So we're going to, you're going to go ahead, and once the calendar has been created and I've sent you out this email, then you on the technical school side are going to go in and manipulate your New Year data, whether it is updating your rolled forward courses or creating brand new courses. Okay, you're going to update that in your Infinite Campus database for the new school year. Once you have that information entered and you have your master schedule finalized, then you will share a copy of that master schedule template along with your 13-digit course codes to your high school people. That is where then when once you have that happened, once you've shared all that information with them, then it is time for the high school to do their part. So what do the high schools do? Well, right now, you're going to be communicating with your technical schools to find out from them what their plan is. Are they going to be rolling their courses forward? Are they going to be creating brand new courses, creating a brand new, just deleting everything from the previous year and creating brand new courses? It's important for you on the high school to know that, because if they're going to be creating brand new courses, you're going to want to purge your previous year courses once you roll your calendar forward. And there is a document that you can reference on the high school side under the user resources heading. It's called Purged Road Courses Tool. And I'm going to open that real quick for you. If you're a high school and your technical school has decided to start from scratch, then you need to listen. After you create on the high school side, after your new calendar has been created and rolled forward, you can purge your previous year 13-digit course codes that have rolled forward to you, to your new school year, by following the directions in this document. So you follow the directions, you make the selection, you purge your rolled tech courses, you check that checkbox, and what happens is, so here's an example. The active school year is 2018-19, and your district used the calendar wizard to create a new calendar for the 1920 school year by rolling forward selected data, adding last year's data to the newly created calendar. As a result, all of your 18-19 courses were rolled forward to the 19-20 calendar. This includes the 13-digit technical school courses, which are not be used because your technical school principal has decided to start from scratch. So what happens is it makes those rolled forward courses obsolete, unlinked, and invalid. So there are around 150 obsolete, unlinked, and invalid courses that have been rolled forward to your new calendar, just sitting there. How do you get rid of them? Because you don't want to reuse them. So what you have to do is to remove all of those rolled forward Tech Center courses. You use this purged rolled Tech Center courses box. You check that, and a script will run during the night of the KTS data exchange process to remove those courses from your high school database. After the tool runs, it automatically unchecks the box and you're done. And that is the idea behind this course. Behind this tool. But the problem is that you need to use this right when you've created your new year calendar and you've rolled the courses forward. If you wait to do it after the technical school starts syncing courses to you again, then it's not going to work. Okay, so that's one of the keys to this. So let's see. All right, so are there any questions about the purged rolled courses tool? So the high school side is the information that you need is you need to talk to your technical school principal and you need to find out what their plans are. Okay, good question, Stacy. So you can find this document on the KTS Data Exchange webpage. Okay. On the right-hand side, look under the User Resources heading, and it's called Purged Rolled Courses Tool. It's a really simple thing to do. All you have to do is check one checkbox, but the timing is important because you have to do it after your calendar has been rolled forward and before your technical school starts syncing courses to you. If you wait, then it's not going to work, and then you're going to end up having 100+ obsolete courses sitting in your database, and you're either going to have to delete them yourself manually, or you're going to have to submit a request to Infinite Campus to do it, and they may charge you. So just try to remember this purged rolled courses tool. All right. Going back. So once you, on the high school side, once you have gotten a copy of the final master schedule from your technical school, make sure that that master schedule has the 13-digit codes added to the courses for you. If it doesn't, then ask your technical school principal to add those for you. It's important for you to have those. It's important for you not to guess what those numbers are going to be. Then here's another important thing for you to do on your high school side. It's important for you to reference the KTS course setup guide for high schools to pull in a course or to create new courses correctly or to update courses. That document is actually located back on the KTS Data Exchange webpage, and it's under the System Administrator Setup heading, and it's called KTS Course Setup Guide for High Schools. Now I'm going to go ahead and open that because I want to talk to you for a second about that. But before I do, I've got a question. If there are no changes in the courses from the previous year in course periods and etc., and those courses are rolled forward, is there any reason to create new course codes on the ATC side? Okay, that's a good question. Sometimes brand new courses are created for, like I said, some courses become deprecated and they have to be removed. And if they do, then it's important for those modifications to be made in the technical school side, and then in turn your technical school, if you will, communicate that through the master schedule. So if you notice a course that you've rolled forward that is no longer being used, it's important for you on the high school side to delete that so it's not accidentally reused. But at the same time, whereas courses can be deprecated, new courses can be created as well. So sometimes new courses are created which call for or new programs are added to technical schools, which call for technical schools to pull in brand new courses throughout the year at some point. So there may be, there very well may be a technical school that rolls all of their courses forward and uses pretty much all their courses with the exception of a couple. And then they decide that they're going to either add a new program, or maybe there were some additional courses added to a current program where they've had to add brand new courses. And so in those cases, the technical school would pull in and create brand new courses, which would call for you to pull in brand new courses as well. Does that answer your question, Barbara? Okay. So, okay, awesome. All right. So, high school people. This is something that you only do, periodically. So it's important when you do it to reference your course setup guide and just don't do it from memory. Because a lot of a lot of times, a lot of sleeps and wakes have happened in between the time where you've pulled in a brand new course for the KTS data exchange. And sometimes you've realized, if you've done this before, it's a little different than creating a regular course in your high school database. And you want to be able to make sure that you're correctly pulling these in and connecting them correctly. Because if you don't connect them correctly, then your students are not going to sync. Okay, so in this course setup guide for high schools, the first thing that it tells you, first page is the background of the KTS data exchange, and then an overview of the course codes. And then the second page talks about adding brand new courses. The first thing that you do when you add brand new courses is you need to make sure you switch your catalog. Now, this is very important, because some high schools say, okay, I know how to create courses. I don't need, to switch the catalog to do that. I can just go to the course master, view or whatever. I know how to pull it in quicker than these directions are telling me. But the thing about it is, you may know how to pull in courses differently and in a quicker way. But with the KTS data exchange, they're connected to the course catalog that they're attached to in order to allow your students to sync correctly. So if you do not follow the directions, you're taking a chance of disconnecting the courses from that program, from the KTS data exchange. And if you disconnect it, then the students are not going to sync. So it's important for you to follow these directions, switch your catalog, take the time to go through these steps. Just make sure you get these courses pulled in correctly the first time. That way you're not going back and having to make corrections, which could cost you more time in the long run. Okay, so the first step is to switch your catalog. Okay, if you don't have access to switch your catalog in your database, that's a job for your Infinite Campus District System Administrator. So you'll have to communicate with that person to make sure that they understand that you might be calling them frequently to switch the catalogs back and forth, so you can get the courses in that you need to get in. Some districts, their system administrator decides to pull the courses in themselves. That's a decision, if that's what they want to do, that's a decision that you all need to talk about amongst yourselves. I'm not here to tell your system administrator what they need to do, or your district on how they need to run their district. But I am here to tell you that regardless of how your district does it, it needs to be done in this way. You need to make sure that someone in your district switches the catalog in this manner by going to the system administrator resources in school in the Infinite Campus Index, and by selecting the school, and then by switching the course master catalog list to the correct course master catalog list. Now, until courses are being, now you might go in there and notice that there, right now you do not see a 21-22 KTS course catalog. You might go in your database right now and see that you do not see that, and you're not going to see that right now. You're not going to see that until I start rolling calendars forward and your technical schools start creating these courses, or the courses get rolled forward. So you're not going to see that catalog until all of this starts happening. Once you see that catalog populating there, then and once you actually receive the master schedule from your high school, then that's when you'll be able to go in here and see that 21-22 KTS course catalog, high schools only. Okay. Then the next thing that you do if you're pulling in a brand new course is, once you switch the catalog, then you'll go to scheduling, add course to pull the course in. Once again, don't try to go through the course master. Don't go to index course master. You want to go to index, scheduling, add course. Okay, and that will pull up the course catalog, the master catalog. and you'll be able to sift through that catalog to locate the courses that you need. Now, I found that the best way, because this is going to be a humongous catalog that you have to sift through. So I found the easiest way to do this is to click inside the box where the courses are, just anywhere in the box, and then just start typing in the first 2 digits of your state course, your Tech ID number. And if you type in those first 2 digits, it's going to take that cursor all the way down to the very first course that starts with those 2 numbers. And that way you're not scrolling down through there. Okay. And then that will make it a little easier for you to locate the courses that you need. Once you've once you've located the courses that you need, then you select them. You select the course master, and then you pull them in to your database, save them, and then you can there do a search for course section and create the and finish setting them up by creating this section and all of that. But moving forward, you can also pull in multiple course masters at a time if you want to. Well, once you've pulled them in, then it's time, step 2, for the course section setup. So that's when you need to do a search for course section, locate the new courses that you just pulled in, and add your section. Remember that for each of these 13-digit course codes that you're pulling in, you can only create 1 section per course. Do not add more than 1 section per 13-digit course. It will cause errors. It will, because what you're doing, actually, think of it this way. That 13-digit course that you're pulling into your high school is actually representative of 1 section back on the technical school side. So if you pull this 13-digit course in and you add more than 1 section, you're trying to send a roster of more than 1 roster back to the technical school database. And it's not going to know which group of kids to put into that section. So rule of thumb, just make sure, do not attach more than 1 section per 13-digit course. Just remember that. And then, like I said earlier, section placement does not need to match the technical school period schedule. So like I said earlier, if you notice that 13-digit code says P04, it's in 4th period back on the technical school side. If it doesn't match your period schedule, you don't have to put it in your 4th period. You can put it in the period location in which it best matches for your period schedule. Okay. And so we talked about adding 1 section. In the section on the high school side, you're going to add the section number. You're going to select whether it's a highly qualified section or not. And then you're going to select your section schedule placement or your period location. One thing that I wanted to make sure, and I'm sorry, I'm hoping I'm not making you all dizzy. I don't have an example here. On your course, whenever you pull the course in itself, on the course tab, so you've got the course and you select the course, and then you see you've got different tabs across the top. You've got the course tab, and then you'll see the grading task tab. You want to select the course tab. On that course, on the high school side, you want to make sure that your instructional setting is set to off-site CTE. And that is not something that is actually in this document, but I'm going to tell you why. You want to make sure that your instructional setting is set to off-site CTE, because that will omit that course from your lead reporting in your high school database, because lead reporting is actually done on the technical school side. So, and you don't want to have to report all of those courses to lead reporting on the high school side. So if you put offsite CTE is the instructional setting, it will omit those from your district reporting for lead. So it's important, all of these 13-digit course codes that you're pulling into your database on the high school side, make sure that the instructional setting is set to offsite CTE. And that's true for this year and any year after. Okay. Also, by doing that, you don't have to add a teacher to the section on the high school side. So you can leave that teacher the area where you add a section or a staff history, the staff history tab. You don't have to add a teacher to the sections for these 13-digit courses. So if you have further questions about that, let me know. But I'm just trying to save you all some additional setup time. Another thing that you'll do once you have completed pulling in, setting up the section, you will then schedule your students to that section. Once you put the students in the section, they will then start syncing back to the technical school each night. So once you start scheduling students into your sections, communicate with your technical school principal and let them know that you're starting to schedule students so they can start looking for those students in their database. And then the final thing that you would need to do on the technical school side, the high school side, is to set up your grading task. The grading task, as the course master is a conduit for syncing student data, you need to think of the grading task tab as a conduit for syncing grades. If the grading task tab is not set up on your high school side and on your technical school side, then you will not be able to receive posted grades from your technical school. So it's important to remember to set your grading task up as your final step. And then if you keep scrolling down through here, updating previous year courses, it goes through, what you need to do to remember when you're updating previous year courses as well. It's pretty much the same step. So I have a question. On the course tab, do we set up term, schedule, periods? What about the department? Good question. So those fields are not necessary for these courses. So you don't need to worry about setting up that term, schedule, periods area. Those are actually used for the schedule wizard. If you're using the schedule wizard for courses, and you don't ever want to use these 13-digit courses for the schedule wizard. If you are a high school that wants to incorporate technical school courses into for the schedule wizard, then you need to create dummy courses. And so basically what you would be doing is, for example, let's say that you've got kids taking digital literacy and they're taking that digital literacy course and there's like 6 sections of it. You wouldn't set each 13-digit course up to run on your schedule wizard. You would just set up one dummy course in your high school database for the schedule wizard, and then that schedule wizard then would create 6 sections on its own, and then you would have to roster copy. Once you used your schedule wizard, then you would roster copy the students that have gone into those dummy rosters into the real 13-digit code rosters. And I know that can be a little bit confusing if you haven't done it, but it works rather well. And I've got several districts that have done it over the years, done the schedule wizard over the years using dummy courses. And now as far as the department goes, I mean, that's a district decision if you want to indicate what the department is. On the grading task, do we create a credit type on the CTE final grade or leave it blank? That's another good question, Tom. Yes, on the grading task tab, let's go back over to the KTS Data Exchange webpage. Under System Administrator Setup, there is a document called KTS Grading Task Setup. So once you go to create, to set up your grading tasks, it talks about, it walks you through what you need to do. The difference, what the CTE term grade is, it's basically, the CTE term grade is basically an in progress type of grade. When it comes to the KTS Data Exchange, how to set that up properly. And then if you scroll down, it talks about the CTE final grade and what's necessary for that CTE final grade. Now, for the credit, for you to be able to award a transcripted grade for your students on the high school side, you will need to make sure that for the CTE final grade, the credit value is indicated and the credit type is given. So so the credit value, if it's not entered in there, then whenever you post a transcripts, it's not going to give a credit value for that course. So it's important for you to put that in there. If you need your technical school to communicate what that credit value should be, then ask for that information. As far as the credit type goes, you should have a credit type in your district database already that designates it's a technical school course. Whatever naming convention that you have in your technical school, that is the credit type that you need to designate for that particular CTE final grade grading task. If a credit type is not entered in there for that particular course, then whenever you run transcript, the transcript post tool, it will bypass that whole course and not post those grades to students' transcripts. So you need to make sure those two fields are added and updated for every 13-digit course. One more thing you need to make sure when it comes to making sure that your transcripts are posted correctly is, if you're in your database right now, and I'm not going to be able to do it, like I said, because I'm not going to be able to get into the database today. But if you're in your database and you're a high school person, you need to go to Gradings and Standards. So you'll go to Index, Gradings and Standards. Then you'll go to Score Groups and Rubrics. And once you go to Score Groups and Rubrics, then you want to locate the score group that you have decided to use for your courses. Most of you use the CTE numeric score group. Some of you have decided to use your own score group, but it matches the CTE numeric score group on the minimum value column. So if you, whichever score group that you are using for these KTS Data Exchange courses, open it up real quick. And I want you to look and make sure that your GPA value and GPA weighted value columns are added. If they're blank, then you need to add those and add the numbers in there. If you see numbers in there, if you see 4s and 3s and 2s and 1s already in there, then you're good. If they're blank, then that means when you post a transcripts, it's not going to post correctly, because it's not going to post with the GPA value. And then these particular courses that you're posting transcripts are not going to calculate correctly for GPA. So you want to make sure that the score groups are set up correctly on the high school side. Questions about that? Okay. All right. So yeah, the final step in setting up your courses on the high school side is to set up your grading task. If you are a technical school, You will follow all of the steps that I just talked about, except for you'll utilize the KTS course setup guide for technical schools. Okay. And then you will set up your grading task tab, just like we just talked about a second ago with the high schools. You'll go through that process. But then additionally, you will set up your grade calc options setup. This is the KTS grade calc options setup document. You'll also set up your grade calc options, okay? So you'll need to make sure that your grade calc options are set up correctly on your technical school side. That you've got your calculators listed here. So you'll make sure that if you don't have a calculator attached to your grading task, then the database doesn't know how to calculate the grade in the grade book. So you need to make sure a calculator is attached. And then if you've got, need to make some compositing happen, then you need to, if you need to composite the final grade, how's that final grade calculated? Then you need to develop your compositing. And then, yeah, this goes in and talks about all of that. Then the last step for you on the technical school side is to push all these changes out to your sections. So on page 3, it starts talking about pushing that information out. And what you're doing when you push that information out is you're pushing it to your teacher's grade books. So if you don't push whatever changes that you've made here, it's not going to update in the teacher's grade books. So it's important. If you go to your course tab and you see pending grading setup changes are ready to be pushed, that means whatever changes you've made have not been pushed out to your teacher. So you need to do that. And this talks about how to do it. You can do it per course, or you can do it in mass. And there's a way to do it in mass. If you do it per course, you would click the push to sections button. If you do it in mass, you would go under gradings and standards, all courses. And then there would be a link in there for you to, and I'm doing this from memory because I don't have my database up, but then there would be a link in there for you to push to all sections. And you would be able to click on that link and push it out to all your sections at one time. Questions about setting up courses, the whole thing. Setting up brand new courses, rolling forward courses and updating them, setting up sections, questions about grading task setup, questions about grade calc options setup on the technical school side only, and questions about pushing those out, changes out to your grade books. Okay. Do high schools set up grade calc options? No, high schools do not need to worry about setting up grade calc options. Because you are only receiving posted grades from your technical school on the high school side. And so you don't have a teacher actually manipulating a grade book in your high school database. So there's no need for you on the high school side to set up the grade calc options. And then you don't need to see what the ATC pushes out as far as changes to settings, but you will see the posted grade. You will see the posted grade. So whenever, your grades sync from the technical school, it's the posted grades. It's basically the in progress grade of, whatever the teacher has posted. And that's what you'll see on the high school side. Okay, question. So in grading tasks on the high school side, do we need to have it set up for terms or just a final grade? That's a good question, Lavelle. So I recommend, I can't, of course, you all on the high school side, you do what you need and what's necessary for as far as grades for your district, but I recommend that you set it up to receive weekly CTE term grade. So the CTE term grade needs to be considered an in-progress grade. And that in-progress grade, Lavelle, that is what you're going to be referencing when it comes to progress reports for athletic and activity eligibility grades. It's a weekly updated grade that your technical school teachers post to send to you at the high school, so you know how your students are doing. The final grade is what you receive from your technical schools to indicate the end of the course, what the end of the course grade is, and what that credit, so you can award a credit for that course. So those are the differences between the CTE term grade and the CTE final grade.